السيدات والسادة المحترمين، حضراتكم الالتزام بالمقاعد، سنبدأ بعد دقائق قليلة. السيدات والسادة الحضور، نرجو من حضراتكم البقاء في المقاعد، سنبدأ خلال دقيقة. السيد الدكتور مصطفى مدبولي رئيس مجلس وزراء جمهورية مصر العربية. السيد الدكتور مصطفى مدبولي رئيس مجلس وزراء جمهورية مصر العربية. ضيوف مصر الكرام، السيدات والسادة الحضور، أهلاً ومرحباً بكم في مصر، بوابة أفريقيا نحو العالم، أفريقيا التي نفتخر ونعتز جميعاً بانتمائنا إليها. نحمل دماء إفريقية وملامح تشابه طبيعتها الساحرة وهوية نتشاركها مع كل أشقائنا في أرجاء القارة السمراء. وكما قال سيادة الرئيس عبد الفتاح السيسي رئيس جمهورية مصر العربية، إن ارتباطنا بأفريقيا هو ارتباط جذور وهوية ومصير، فجذورنا تنبع من تلك الأرض التي تحتضن أهم ثروات العالم، ونتشارك أيضاً نفس المصير. ولقد عرفت أفريقيا سنوات نضال من أجل الحرية، فكانت مصر داعماً ومسانداً لها بكل ما أوتيت من عزيمة، وتجسدت إرادة الأخوة بين شعوبها. إن ثروتنا البشرية هي أغلى ما نملك، بما يفوق 1,200,000,000 نسمة تجمعهم روابط الدم والتحديات المشتركة والأهداف. ففي الوقت الذي تتباطأ فيه نمو اقتصادات الدول الكبرى في العالم، يتسارع نمو اقتصادات الدول الإفريقية مدفوعاً بإرادة شعوبها في التنمية والرخاء. ولقد خطت أفريقيا خطوات جادة في هذا الاتجاه، لا ينقصها سوى تعزيز التعاون البيني والتغلب على معوقاته واستثمار الإمكانيات والقدرات البشرية والتقنية والمادية وفق استراتيجية إفريقية مشتركة نحو أفريقيا التي نحلم ونريد. السيدات والسادة الحضور، اليوم تحقق الدول الإفريقية وثبة طموح على أرض مصر بإطلاق المعرض التجاري البيني الإفريقي الأول، منصة للتكامل الإفريقي بين شعوب القارة. رحبوا معي بالسيد أولوشاغون أوباسانجو رئيس المجلس الاستشاري لمعرض التجارة البينية الإفريقية والرئيس الأسبق لنيجيريا. His Excellency Mr. Olusegun Obasanjo, Chairman of the Intra-African Trade Fair Advisory Council and the former President of Nigeria.
Mr. Prime Minister, Your Excellency,
السادة
distinguished ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, and friends of Africa. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you and to address you here in Cairo today at the opening of the first ever Intra-African Trade Fair. It is a 7-day trade show and is the first of its kind in Africa. It has been designed to drive intra-African trade and to support the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, a landmark agreement in the context of economic integration, transformation, and progress in Africa.
والتقدم الاقتصادي في أفريقيا.
A platform for sharing African trade, investment, and market information, enabling buyers and sellers, investors, producers, and countries to meet, to discuss, and to conclude business arrangements and deals. This trade fair gives opportunities for exhibitors to showcase their goods and services and share with others trend and market information. The trade fair also opportunely follows hot on the heels of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, which aims to pioneer, support, facilitate and drive free trade and economic development across our continent. A situation where trade among African countries is a paltry 18% compared with 52% among Asian countries and 68% among European countries, calls for drastic positive action on our part.
ويجب علينا نقوم باتخاذ الخطوات اللازمة في هذا الخصوص. يجب أن نقوم بتعزيز التجارة ما بين الدول الأفريقية. يجب علينا أن يكون لدينا دور في المعارض التجارية. وبنهاية هذا المعرض سوف نتمكن من تطوير التجارة ما بين الدول الأفريقية.
Through you, Mr. Prime Minister,
وعن طريقك السيد رئيس الوزراء
and the Arab Republic of Egypt
وفي جمهورية مصر العربية
of this maiden event.
نتمكن من تحقيق ذلك. هناك الترتيبات المتاحة من أجل ذلك.
May I congratulate African Bank and the African Union for their foresight, thoughtfulness, initiative, and their hard work in promoting, organizing, and propelling this trade fair. African Bank and the AU have worked tirelessly since the announcement of the trade fair in Kigali in March this year, in order to ensure that this project is a resounding success.
نتأكد أن هناك حصة جيدة بالنسبة للدول الأفريقية في معارض التجارة.
When we started planning for the project, we did not have any financial resources to begin with. But African Bank provided significant financial resources to get the preparation of the ground. Professor Rama and other senior members of the management of the bank infected all of us with their enthusiasm and conviction that the trade fair will pay off and play a pivotal role in Africa's transformation process. We share their conviction that the trade fair will also contribute immensely toward the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, which will play a vital role in transforming businesses and economies, creating employment and generating wealth, and building prosperity across the continent. In order to ensure that there is proper guidance and support towards the preparation for the trade fair, the bank established the Intra-African Trade Fair Advisory Council, and I was honored to chair this important body. I would therefore wish to recognize my able and supporting Deputy Chair in person of Jean-Louis Ekra, former President of African Bank. I am also grateful for the support that was provided by the AU under the leadership of His Excellency Albert Muchanga, the African Union Commissioner for Trade and Industry, who is also a member of the IATF Advisory Council and who provided immense support in marketing and promoting this trade fair. I acknowledge the work that was undertaken by other members of the Advisory Council, especially the Pan-African Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the African Trade Policy Center, UNECA, the World Trade Center in Miami, the International Trade Center, the International Islamic Trade Finance Corporation of the Islamic Development Bank Group, the Export Development Authority of Egypt's Ministry of Trade, the Afro Champions Initiative, and our trade fair organizers. We owe each of them a debt of gratitude. Our journey toward the IATF 2018 officially started on March 2018 when the Intra-African Trade Fair was launched in Kigali, Rwanda, on the margins of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement Summit. We held advisory council meetings every month in addition to other engagements, and these made huge contributions to to the successful organization of the trade fair. As the chairman of the Advisory Council, I want to commend every member of the Advisory Council for performing their roles and responsibilities in a professional manner and with the highest level of commitment, enthusiasm, faith, and conviction. I could not have had a better team to work with. It was a great and delightful pleasure and satisfaction. I would also like to thank all our partners, especially our sponsors, who believe in us and in our vision of transforming Africa through intra-African trade. Most importantly, I would like to thank all of you who are gathered here for coming in large numbers and giving so much of your time to attend this pioneer landmark event. It will go down in history as the first instrument towards implementing the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, which is set to transform and enhance the way in which we conduct intra-African trade. I believe that by coming together, we will be able to get to know one another, share more information that will help trade, that will help investment and economic progress within Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, with loud applause, please join me in showing our appreciation to the members of the IATF Advisory Council, as well as all our sponsors and partners who have all made it possible and made it to happen. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me reiterate that the trade fair is one of the instruments that we need to use to support the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, which is vital for African transformation. It is therefore imperative that all African governments who believe in African progress must not only sign the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, but ratify it at once to get the 22 countries whose ratification will signal the commencement of the implementation of the agreement. Without uninhibited trading among African countries, intra-African trade fair will amount to sham. Africa needs to focus on what trade is needed, where the markets are, the size of the market, and the standards required by those markets, how and where to join the value chains that serve the markets. We also need to fashion out the medium of payment within Africa for intra-African trade expeditiously. These factors need to be combined with ensuring that there is a commercially viable return and that the markets chosen are sustainable. Let us try to learn more about ourselves, know more about ourselves, so as to mutually help ourselves. We are potentially strong, but we need to work and act together to make ourselves actually strong. There's no virtue or much value in potentiality. Virtue and values lie in actuality. We have long been potential this and potential that. Let us now be actual. Then we will earn more respect as members of the human race. We must be competitive proactive, and make ourselves matter and reckoned with, not as aid getters, but as trade makers in Africa and globally. It is our duty to create the environment where the entrepreneurial spirit of Africans can succeed. Stronger economies yield the rewards of better health, education, improved employment opportunities, and prosperity for all. The present and future generations must have greater expectations, greater choices, and greater opportunities to succeed. It is their right, and nobody should deprive them of such inalienable right. Together, we can make Africa part of the global powerhouse. Let us do it so that we can create sustainable trade and economic growth and increase prosperity across the continent. We need collective enthusiasm, can-do and indomitable spirit, unbending attitude, hard work, and collaborative, assertive action. We have reached where we are today for this trade fair because of commitment of all involved. And once again, I thank all of you. From now on, the hallmark of future intra-African trade fairs will be total commitment by all concerned. Once again, you are all welcome to the first Intra-African Trade Fair in Cairo, Egypt, the cradle of civilization. Thank you for coming.
لا شك أن توقيع إنشاء منطقة التجارة الحرة الإفريقية الذي وصف بالتاريخي له حدث استثنائي. فأفريقيا ذات الناتج المحلي الإجمالي بأكثر من 3.5 تريليون دولار أمريكي ستصبح أكبر سوق منفرد في العالم. رحبوا معي بالسيد ألبرت موشانغا مفوض الاتحاد الإفريقي للتجارة والصناعة. His Excellency Mr. Albert Mushanga, African Union Commissioner for Trade and Industry.
Thank you very much, Director of Ceremony. Your Excellency, Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, Prime Minister of the Arab Republic of Egypt. Your Excellencies, Vice Presidents who are with us this morning. Your Excellency, Professor Benedict Oke Orama, Chairman of the Board and President of the African Import-Export Bank. Your Excellency, Dr. Olusegun Obasanjo, Chairman of the Advisory Board or Council of the first Intra-African Trade Fair. Your Excellency, Engineer Amri Nasser, Minister of Trade and Industry of the Arab Republic of Egypt. Your Excellencies, Honorable Ministers present here. Your Excellency, Dr. Vera Songwe, Executive Secretary and Under-Secretary General of the United Nations. Members of the diplomatic corps, buyers, exhibitors, and sellers, as well as ladies and gentlemen. I stand here on behalf of the chairperson of the African Union Commission, His Excellency, Dr. Musa Faki Mohammed, who could not be with us this morning due to other urgent commitments at the headquarters. The first Intra-African Trade Fair is the first deliverable of the African Continental Free Trade Area, even before the agreement has entered into force. This demonstrates the strong commitment that Africa has towards this event, which is a component of the Cluster on Trade Information of the Action Plan on Boosting Intra-African Trade, adopted by the Assembly of the African Union Heads of State and Government in 2012. It was that action plan where African Union Heads of State and Government committed themselves and Africa to accelerate the establishment of the African Continental Free Trade Area by the target date of 2017. Negotiations on this historic undertaking were largely completed by December 2017, paving the way for the signature of the agreement on 21st March this year in Kigali, Rwanda. Your Excellencies, we are holding the trade fair in an ultra-modern exhibition number of halls. I congratulate the people and government of the Arab Republic of Egypt for providing us the excellent facilities and the standard that has been set, both in terms of exhibition halls and the turnout of exhibitors, has really set a benchmark which will challenge future exhibitors. We thank you, the people and government of Egypt. Please give them a round of applause. Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, the African Export-Import Bank, ably led by the hardworking, visionary, and highly effective chairman of the board and President, Dr. Benedict Oke-Orama, both mooted the idea of the Intra-African Trade Fair and the editions and put adequate financial resources to be where we are today. That we have subscribed in terms of exhibitors and trade deals is a testimony of the sterling performance of the men and women of the African Export-Import Bank. And again, I request you to give them a round of applause. We thank you, African Export-Import Bank. We thank you, Dr. Rama and your team. We are equally proud of you. We greatly appreciate your vision to transform Africa through trade, and this is already yielding dividends. Your Excellencies, as we start the first edition of the Intra-African Trade Fair series that will take place every 2 years, we are also celebrating the emergence of one African market that will open limitless possibilities to the economic diversification and structural transformation as well as prosperity of Africa. The large and integrated market that we are creating in the African Continental Free Trade Area will stimulate increased investments, output, as well as improve the welfare of the African people, in addition to improving efficiencies. Over time, firms operating in our market will produce at lower costs, which also translate into reduced consumer costs and rising welfare among the African people. This is what the African people expect, and this is what they deserve. Your Excellencies, we are every day getting nearer to the entry into force of the agreement establishing the African Continental Free Trade Area. So far, we have 13 ratifications in terms of parliamentary approvals, out of which we at the African Union have received deposits of 9 instruments of ratification. We are in regular contact with African Union member states to find out their progress in facilitating ratification of the agreement. And the results that we are getting from these interactions show that there is encouraging progress. The feedback that we are getting is that 12 of our member states are in advanced stages of obtaining parliamentary approvals as soon as possible, maybe by March next year. Against this background, we are confident that we shall have the minimum number of 22 ratifications by the time the Assembly of the African Union Heads of State and Government meet in February 2019. When this ratification milestone is
في شهر
attained,
فبراير
not if,
شباط
but when,
من العام
it will be a significant development
2019
in the sense that on average, it takes 5 years for African Union legal instruments to enter
كمعدل
into force.
هناك حاجة إلى 5 سنوات للتصديق على صك دولي. تعتذر المترجمة ثمة مشكلة فنية.
Africa set and sustain a new standard of performance above average. In this respect, we call on all the 6 member states that have not yet signed the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement to do so as a matter of urgency. In the same vein, we call on those member states that have not yet ratified also to do so as a matter of urgency. I make these calls because if we are to create one African market in line with the vision of the African Continental Free Trade Area, all African Union member states must sign and ratify the agreement. In this way, we'll be able to come up with a fully integrated market. I'm glad that African Union ministers responsible for trade are in this room this morning. I'm sure they will do the needful and take us closer to realizing the vision of the African Union and Agenda 2063 and the Accord to have an integrated, prosperous, and peaceful Africa driven by its own citizens, representing a dynamic force in the global arena. This vision is the guiding star of creating the Africa that we want. With this positive development, the challenge for investors, manufacturers, and traders is to be ready when the agreement has come into force. We plan to have the shortest transition between entry into force of the agreement and operation of the market. Before I conclude, I would like to add the following few points to my statement. My first point is to thank the exhibitors, buyers, and sellers, as well as participants in the conference segments of this trade fair, together with the visitors and the rich array of exhibitions, and because of this, you are alive of the trade fair. Today and the coming 6 days promise to be very lively because what you are going to exhibit. We also thank you for giving us a dream come true. My second point is to invite the buyers and visitors in this fair to appreciate the wide range of consumer choices that will be offered under the African Continental Free Trade Area. The range will be wider in the actual market when it starts operating next year. I make an invitation because increased product variety will contribute to the welfare gains of the African people. My third point is to deeply appreciate the presence of over 40 countries in the 2018 Intra-African Trade Fair. Some of them are coming from outside Africa. This shows the power of solidarity among nations. I invite all of us to contribute to the spirit of solidarity in this critical era when the multilateral trading system is under threat. To capstone my statement, and this is my fourth and last point, although not the least point, I would like to appreciate the dynamic role played by the Advisory Council of the 2018 Intra-African Trade Fair in providing effective oversight to the preparatory process. And I make particular reference to the chairman of the council, Baba Obasanjo, as well as his vice president, former President Ekra. Please give them a round of applause. With this, I would like to end my statement and thank you for your kind attention.
السيدات والسادة، أهلا بكم من جديد. إفريقيا تلك القارة التي يبلغ عدد سكانها 1,200,000,000 نسمة، ورغم ما تزخر به أراضيها بمقومات النجاح، إلا أنه في المقابل نجد حجم التجارة البينية بين دول القارة بوضعها الحالي تعد الأضعف بين القارات. لذلك كان من الضروري الإسراع في المبادرة بتفعيل المزيد من التبادل التجاري بين دول القارة السمراء. ومن هنا جاء دور البنك الإفريقي للتصدير والاستيراد لرعاية هذا الملتقى الهام. والآن مع كلمة رئيس مجلس إدارة البنك الإفريقي للتصدير والاستيراد African Bank, Professor Benedict Orama, President and Chairman of the Board of Directors African Bank. Please welcome.
Your Excellency, Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, Prime Minister of the Arab Republic of Egypt, Your Excellency, Abba Mushanga, representing Dr. Musa Faki Mahamat, Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Your Excellency, Mr. Daniel Duncan, Vice President of the Republic of Cote d'Ivoire, Your Excellencies, representatives of heads of states here present, Excellency Dr. Olusegun Obasanjo, Chairman of the IATF Advisory Council and former President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Your Excellency, Mr. Haile Mariam Desalegn, the former Prime Minister of the Federal Republic of Ethiopia, Excellency Namadi Sambo, former Vice President of Nigeria, Your Excellency, former heads of states here present, Your Excellency, Ms. Vera Songwe, the Executive Secretary of the UN Economic Commission for Africa, honorable ministers, ambassadors and members of the diplomatic corps, fellow bankers, exhibitors, buyers, my lovely wife Chinelo, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Today, Africa makes history, and I'm sure you agree with me. When you go and visit the exhibition stands today, we converge in Egypt, the land of the pharaohs, the cradle of civilization, to usher in a new era for Africa. We do so united by common purpose, driven by a common desire propelled by a commitment to use the force of history to change the course of history. We gather here as brothers, sisters, and friends to say a resounding never again to the divisions imposed on us by history and which have dug us deep into misery. While others in other continents look across their borders to seek friends and partners, we look into the horizon to find ours. But this week, here in Cairo, thanks to the benevolence of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, we look inwards with pride. We look across our borders to embrace our common heritage. The tremendous networking effect that this gathering presents equips us with a potent force to begin to dismantle the well-laid out colonial structures that have disintegrated Africa for close to a century. Anyone doubtful of the urgency of the events of this week, the first ever Intra-African trade fair, should be reminded of the words of Mr. Albert Sarau, a former colonial administrator, who aptly captured the colonial strategy, and I quote, "Economically, a colonial possession means to the home country simply a privileged market where it will draw the raw material it needs, dumping its own manufacturers in return. Moreover, by strictly imposing on its colonial dependency the exclusive consumption of its manufactured products, the metropolis prevents any effort to use or manufacture local raw materials on the spot and any contact with the rest of the world. The colony is forbidden to establish any industry or to do business with the neighboring territories for its own enrichment across the customs barriers erected by the metropolitan power. Aware of the enormity of the structural barriers imposed on us by history, the late Dr. Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana, in his speech in 1963, on the occasion of the establishment of the Organization of African Unity, asked, and I quote, "By belonging to different economic zones, how will we break down the currency and trading barriers between African states? How will we retain our own capital for our development? How will we establish an internal market for our own industries?" Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the answer to the questions posed by Dr. Nkrumah is obvious. We must reverse engineer the colonial strategy of divide and rule. We must create an integrated market for our continent. When their Excellencies, African heads of state, signed the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement in March 2018, they fulfilled the political will and sent a strong message to the world that Africa was ready to start a new course, a path to economic independence, and a look inward for industrial growth. But that was only the beginning. We need to turn the political will into economic dividends, to integrate both on paper and on the ground, to build the interconnected net that only markets can unleash. Access to trade information is key to this process. Of what significance will it be if we remove trade barriers, but there is nothing to trade? Of what benefit is it if we open our borders, but African businesses remain ignorant of the opportunities that exist and what goods are available in other countries? Of what use will it be if the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement becomes effective and Kenya continues to import leather from outside Africa that Burundi produces, that Nigeria imports pharmaceuticals from outside Africa that Egypt produces, all because people just don't know? Since the President Bank made the promotion of intra-African trade the arrowhead of his strategy, we have discovered the explosive power of trade information. That is why we have been able to make it possible for Egyptian and Tunisian companies to implement over $2.5 billion in supply and construction contracts across Africa in 2 years. That is why we have opened thriving Egypt-Nigeria pharmaceutical trade. That is why we have been able to facilitate the partnership that has led to the Cape to Cairo fiber optics cable, attracting over 400 million intra-African investments. And that is why we are fostering a furniture supply chain between Gabon and Egypt, attracting over $150 million in investments. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Intra-African Trade Fair, perhaps one of the largest trade exhibitions ever in the continent, is an important step in resolving the information problem. There are about 1,100 exhibitors from more than 80 countries here. There are 42 country pavilions, several thousand deal makers, with the expected value of deals to be made in excess of $27 billion. There will also be 2 country days that promise great opportunities and entertainment, and a conference running alongside that boasts over 300 speakers and over 2,000 delegates. Your Excellencies, you will agree with me that Africa has finally arrived. By creating this platform for interaction among African businesses, banks, artists, and others, we are building the foundations for the emergence of robust continental supply chains. I foresee a tectonic shift in the dynamics of Africa's trade as Africans begin to exploit the rich and diverse African market. As the continent becomes a sustainable market, private investments in infrastructure will follow. We will begin to solve our infrastructure problem when we become a market. Today, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to declare that we stand at the turning point of history. We are most grateful to His Excellency President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, President of the Arab Republic of Egypt, for supporting this initiative. We thank His Excellency, Prime Minister of Egypt, for being here with us to render the political support that this event requires. We also thank all those of you who travel from far and wide to join us here, because without you, we would not have had this ceremony. All participating countries, exhibitors, performers, service providers, and buyers, we thank for embracing this initiative. We would in particular like to thank the non-African exhibitors and guests for identifying with Africa and especially supporting the emergence of joint ventures necessary for empowering African businesses to take advantage of opportunities in the continent. I would like to thank some of our foreign partner Exim banks, namely the Russia Export Center and the Indonesia Exim Bank, led by the CEO, Mrs. Cynthia Roesley, for cementing their partnerships with Africa by joining us here today. I would also like to thank China Exim Bank, which has once again demonstrated its strong support for Africa and the African Export-Import Bank by being here. Over the past 2 years, they have been of tremendous support to us, providing us over $2 billion in financing as we move to support intra-regional trade and intra-regional investments. We thank you. We thank the chairperson of the China Exim Bank, Ms. Hu Xiaoling, for being here personally to lead the delegation. Permit me also to thank the Advisory Council for the Trade Fair, chaired by His Excellency Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, the former President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, supported by our former President, Mr. Jean-Louis Ekra, for the tremendous work they did towards realizing this project. Special thanks to the Ministry of Trade of Egypt, Minister Nasser, and also the Export Development Authority of Egypt, our partners, who worked tirelessly to make sure that all the logistics and other political support we needed for this project were given. Special thanks also to our other partners, the UN Economic Commission for Africa, the Islamic Trade Finance Corporation, for giving us tremendous support, especially sponsorship of some of the activities we'll be having this week. Thanks are also due to other partners who are members of the Advisory Council, namely the Afro Champions Initiative, the Pan-African Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the International Trade Center in Geneva, the World Trade Center in Miami, and others. We also thank our media partners, CNN, CNBC, and a number of African media houses for supporting this event. This event would not have been possible without the generous donation from various sponsors who donated funds to us, ranging from a few $1,000s to millions of dollars. We thank them for making it possible, for once again demonstrating that Africans believe in Africa. We need to give them the platform to show that belief. I thank our event organizers, Pizikona, Brand Communications, and ExpoLink for delivering what I believe will be a resounding success. Let me also take this opportunity to thank my colleagues at the bank, especially the team that led this effort, led by Ms. Kanayo Awani, the Managing Director for Intra-African Trade, for making us proud today. We thank you, and we believe that the positive results we are seeing today and we'll see this week will vindicate all the sleepless nights you've had. As I close, I would like to encourage all businesses here present to begin to take advantage of the business-to-business opportunities the trade fair presents. And I would like to also remind you that we have launched a virtual Intra-African trade fair. So apart from the physical exhibition, there are exhibitions in the virtual trade fair. You can conduct businesses there, you can close deals there, and these closed there can also be presented to Afreximbank for consideration for possible support. We invite you to visit the virtual Intra-African trade fair. Afreximbank stands ready to facilitate any bankable business that you may generate in this trade fair. So please do not hesitate to visit the Afreximbank pavilion in Hall 2 when you have deals you want us to support. And if you need any of our Intra-African trade specialists to support you, to help you to negotiate deals, you will find our staff in Hall 2, or you go also to the virtual Intra-African trade fair to make that request. Thank you very much for listening.
السادة الحضور، إن عودة مصر خلال السنوات الأخيرة إلى التواجد المؤثر والفعال على الساحة الإفريقية تهدف إلى التعاون والبناء لصالح الأشقاء الأفارقة، انطلاقاً من الثوابت الرئيسية لسياسة مصر الخارجية تجاه محيطها الإفريقي. هكذا كانت رسالة والتكليف من قبل فخامة الرئيس عبد الفتاح السيسي لقطاعات الدولة المصرية. وحول هذا التوجه وتلك الرؤية نستمع الآن إلى كلمة معالي رئيس وزراء جمهورية مصر العربية الدكتور مصطفى مدبولي. Please welcome His Excellency Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, the Prime Minister of the Arab Republic of Egypt.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السادة أصحاب الفخامة والمعالي رؤساء الدول والحكومات والوزراء من أفريقيا، السيدات والسادة رؤساء وممثلي المنظمات الدولية الإقليمية، السيدات والسادة ضيوف مصر الكرام، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. يطيب لي أن أرحب بكم اليوم في افتتاح هذا الحدث الهام والذي يعد الأول من نوعه في قارتنا الأفريقية، وذلك نيابة عن فخامة الرئيس عبد الفتاح السيسي رئيس جمهورية مصر العربية. وأتقدم إليكم جميعا بالشكر لتلبية الدعوة ولمشاركتكم الكريمة في المعرض الأول للتجارة البينية الأفريقية، والذي يأتي عقب محطة هامة في مسيرة العمل الأفريقي المشترك، ألا وهو منتدى أفريقيا 2018 الذي احتضنته مدينة السلام شرم الشيخ. وكذلك بالتزامن مع المؤتمر السابع لوزراء التجارة الأفارقة، والذي سيناقش فيه أحدى أهم الاتفاقات على الساحة الاقتصادية الدولية، ألا وهي اتفاقية التجارة الحرة بالقارة الأفريقية، والتي تعد دون شك إنجازاً حقيقياً على صعيد جهودنا الحثيثة نحو التكامل الأفريقي. كما أتقدم بخالص الشكر للاتحاد الأفريقي والبنك الأفريقي للتصدير والاستيراد على الجهد المبذول لإنجاح هذا المعرض وغيره من الفعاليات الأفريقية الهامة، وكذلك السعي الدائم لتحقيق التكامل بين دول القارة. السيدات والسادة، إن هذا المعرض يأتي كخطوة هامة في مسيرتنا لدعم جهود التكامل الاقتصادي الأفريقي، خاصة في ضوء الإنجاز المحقق في مفاوضات اتفاقية التجارة الحرة القارية الأفريقية، والتي ستدخل حيز النفاذ في القريب العاجل، والتي ستساعد دولنا على تحقيق معدلات نمو اقتصادي مرتفعة بعد إزالة العوائق الجمركية أمام حركة التجارة البينية، وتسهيل حركة عناصر الإنتاج، فضلاً عن زيادة معدلات النمو الصناعي وتحقيق التنمية التكنولوجية، مما يساعد على تعزيز تنافسية المنتج الأفريقي على الصعيدين الإقليمي والدولي. كما يأتي هذا المعرض لنقل رسالة إلى العالم بأن أفريقيا مستعدة وترحب بالتعاون على كافة الأصعدة الاقتصادية التجاري منها والاستثماري، حيث أصبحت قارتنا الأفريقية محط اهتمام متزايد من قبل العالم أجمع كوجهة للأعمال، لا سيما بعد أن استطاعت العديد من دولنا قطع شوط طويل في تحديث بنيتها الاقتصادية والتشريعية حتى تستطيع اللحاق بركاب متطلبات التنمية والاستثمار، وذلك فضلاً عن تعدد أطر التعاون الاقتصادي بين الدول الأفريقية وشركائنا في التنمية، الأمر الذي يشجع مجتمع الأعمال الدولي في التوجه إلى أفريقيا. فلقد تجاوزت معدلات نمو العديد من بلداننا متوسط النمو العالمي خلال السنوات الأخيرة، وذلك رغم الأزمات المتلاحقة التي عصفت بالاقتصاد الدولي خلال السنوات الماضية. فقد تضمنت قائمة الدول ذات الاقتصاديات الأسرع نمواً في العالم العديد من الدول الأفريقية، وإننا لعلى ثقة بأنه من أجل اعتلاء المكانة التي تليق بقارتنا فإنه لا يمكننا إغفال أهمية محور تنمية القدرات البشرية في عملنا المشترك، فضلاً عن الاهتمام بالشباب الأفريقي عماد القارة وأساس مستقبلها، وذلك من خلال الطريق الأوحد ألا وهو التعليم، مما يتيح لشبابنا اكتساب المهارات اللازمة للانخراط بكفاءة في سوق العمل، ومن ثم دفع معدلات النمو لقارتنا والتحول إلى مجتمعات المعرفة من خلال تطوير مجالات البحث والابتكار كركيزة أساسية للانطلاق إلى المستقبل. واتصالاً بذلك يأتي حرص مصر لمواصلة دورها النشط في تطوير القدرات المؤسسية والبشرية الأفريقية، لا سيما الكوادر الشابة. الإخوة الأعزاء، إنه لمن دواعي فخرنا ما حققناه ونحققه في مصر على صعيد تفعيل مبادئ التعاون والتكامل الأفريقي، حيث سارعت الشركات المصرية إلى الاستثمار في الأسواق الأفريقية حتى تجاوز حجم استثماراتنا في دول القارة 8 مليار دولار، مما ساهم في خلق عشرات الآلاف من فرص العمل، خاصة في قطاعات التشييد والبنية التحتية والطاقة والتعدين والزراعة والاتصالات وتكنولوجيا المعلومات. كما وصل حجم تجارتنا مع أشقائنا الأفارقة إلى 5 مليارات دولار تقريبا، نستهدف مضاعفتها خلال الأعوام ال5 المقبلة، ونأمل في أن تسهم تلك الجهود بفاعلية في مضاعفة التجارة البينية الأفريقية. ضيوف مصر الأعزاء، إن وجودنا اليوم في هذا الحدث يأتي اتصالاً بالتزاماتنا بتحقيق آمال شعوبنا والمنصوص عليها بأجندة أفريقيا 2063، والتي قمنا بإقرارها جميعاً كرؤية أفريقية لتحقيق التنمية الشاملة، والتي تعد التجارة البينية من أهم دعائمها، والتي من شأنها دون شك تعزيز مكانة أفريقيا في الاقتصاد العالمي. واليوم مع افتتاحنا لأعمال المعرض أدعو أشقائي من القارة الأفريقية وكذلك مجتمعي الأعمال الأفريقي والدولي وشركائنا في التنمية إلى وضع اللبنات الأولى لإطلاق المشروعات والمبادرات التنموية وفقاً لإطار يراعي التوازن المطلوب بين طموحنا لبناء قارتنا وبين تطلع شركائنا في التنمية إلى حوافز وعوائد تفتح آفاقاً أرحب لمزيد من الاستثمارات وتدفقات رأس الأموال. وقد حرصت مصر عند استضافتها لهذا المعرض أن يكون بمثابة ملتقى للحكومات والقطاع الخاص وأصحاب المصالح من داخل القارة وخارجها، وتم وضع برنامجه بعناية وفق رؤية واضحة تتمثل في عرض السلع والخدمات واستكشاف الفرص في بلادنا، وليكون كذلك بمثابة سوق قاري يجتمع فيه مجتمع الأعمال الدولي للتعرف على قدرات أفريقيا الحقيقية، وذلك فضلاً عن تبادل المعلومات الحيوية وتحديد الحلول الأنسب لمواجهة التحديات التي تؤثر على التجارة البينية الأفريقية. وفي هذا الإطار تجدر الإشارة إلى أن عدد المشاركين في هذا المعرض من عارضين وزائرين يعد أبلغ دليل على حاجتنا الماسة للتكامل فيما بيننا، حيث تعد عدد المشاركين 1000 عارض تقريبا من أكثر من 35 دولة من كافة أنحاء العالم. السيدات والسادة، إنه لشرف لمصر توليها رئاسة الاتحاد الأفريقي مطلع العام المقبل في دورته 32، ونأمل من خلالها استكمال مسيرتنا في دعم القضايا الأفريقية وخاصة تنمية التجارة البينية بين دول القارة، كما نأمل من خلال رئاستنا لتلك الدورة تحقيق كل ما نصبو إليه نحن الأفارقة. وختاماً أتوجه إليكم بخالص الشكر على مشاركتكم الكريمة في هذا المعرض، وكل التقدير إلى كل من ساهم في تنظيمه، ويحدوني الأمل في أن تخلص أعماله إلى ما نتطلع إليه من آمال وطموحات، وأن يكون المعرض خطوة هامة ومحورية لتحقيق آمال شعوبنا من تنمية اقتصادية واجتماعية شاملة ومستدامة وحياة كريمة لمواطنينا والأجيال القادمة. وأشكركم، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الحضور واحداً من أهم أشكال الفن الأدبي، والذي يأتي مفهومه من الإحساس أو الشعور، وعادة ما يوحي الشاعر بعدد من الأحاسيس والمشاعر في قصائد ليشعر بها المتلقي. والآن نستمع لإلقاء قصيدة شعرية من الشاعرة ليبو مشاكيلي. Please welcome the South African poet ليبو مشاكيلي.
Once we were travelers. Wherever we found water and warmth, we were home. Once, when we knew the ocean's true names, you could send a beat from Indian to Atlantic, Giza to Great Zimbabwe. A scripted message traveled from heart to hand, to drum, to dust, to ear, to village, to kingdom. Songs of divination, songs of destruction. Coded connections contained in clan names and cattle. Cosmic formations and the scars that hold both beauty and tears. Once, we were channels of life and knowledge, housed in the names we sang as our daily covenant to the people who made us into people. What Western science would refer to as DNA, long after we knew that blood is a shrine of memories, and our bones talismans in the earth. Once we knew that a human being was more than a two-legged consumer, more than a passport or permit holder, more than a slave or child of war. An African in motion is a tangent in time, a multi-dimensional expression of lineage, a collection of talents, mind in survival, made manifest in transcendence. We transcend borders of geography, skin, and mind. We make empires out of empty space, create cultures out of chaos and catastrophes. Through turbulence and turmoil, we never stop. Like the flow of our resources, we never stop. Like the tides of our geniuses, we never stop. Like the forces that would divide us, we never stop. Once we were told that none of this is real, that legacies could be erased like breath from the dead, that taking life from the lifeless was not a crime. We overestimated our importance. We were not a continent, but a venue. Markets were not places run by women. We never traded with India, Persia, China, or each other. The first ships, the first cosmologies, the first alphabets, the first universities were not the ones we built. We were a place of nothingness, split into pieces, with tongues not of our own, like the one that writes this poem. We made these words our home because we are travelers. Once a timeline broke like a wave crashing against the shores of limitations, drawing digital superhighways across the limbs of this continent, her immortal face, an army of colors, the flesh of the young, the knowledge of ancients, the wealth of the womb of the world. Hers is the bread on every table. Hers is the creamy milk of kings. Hers is the fat of fertile lands. Hers is the meeting place of minds. Our borders will melt in each other's mouths. Our pains will find refuge in each other's gods. Our children will find love in each other's nations. Our actions will be remembered in each other's songs. Once there was a place where men put down their guns and picked up the souls of their people, where power was measured by the growth of your neighbor. How many souls have awakened because you are alive? How many lives intersect when we see ourselves through our own eyes? How many leaders will it take to make this continent whole? In the marketplace, we will be like mothers, measuring cloth, grain, and gold, like futures in the mouths of her children.
السادة الحضور، بمناسبة هذا الملتقى الهام والمعني بالأساس بتقوية الروابط ما بين دول القارة السمراء، فكان من المهم أن يتم الترحيب بالسادة الضيوف من قبل أهم زعماء دول القارة السمراء.
The masses of our people are crying for unity. It is the only salvation. The people of Africa call for the breaking down of the boundaries that keep us apart. They demand an end to the border disputes between sister African states, disputes that arise out of the artificial barriers raised by colonialism. It was colonialism's purpose that divided us, because it was his interest. It was colonialism's purpose that left us with our border irredentism, that rejected our ethnic and cultural fusion. Our people, all of Africa, call for unity, so that they may not lose their patrimony in the perpetual service of neocolonialism. In their fervent push for unity, they understand that only its realization will give full meaning to their freedom and our African independence.
أيها السادة والأصدقاء، أيها السادة والأصدقاء من وفود الشعوب الإفريقية الصديقة، للمرة الثانية يتاح لي أن ألتقي معكم وأسعد بالترحيب بكم في هذه العاصمة المؤمنة بالحرية. وليس أروع في الحس ولا أقرب إلى صميم القلب من اجتماع جنود الهدف الواحد ليزيدوا من عمق روابطهم وليتبادلوا تجاوبهم ويتدارسوا معانيها، وتتطلع بهم الأماني المشتركة إلى الأهداف المتجددة. والأصدقاء، ولا بد لي هنا أن أسجل أمامكم أن خطوات كثيرة قد تمت على الطريق الصحيح، وأن هذه الخطوات تحمل من بواعث الأمل ما يملأ نفوسنا بالإيمان في مستقبل النضال وتعميق شخصيتها المستقلة وتفجير طاقات شعوبها الخلاقة. ليكن التوفيق معكم في كل ما تتصدون له من قضايا قارتكم ومن قضايا السلام في عالمكم، وليكن النصر حليف شعوبكم الصاعدة. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
مهما اختلفت الثقافات وتباينت اللغات واختلطت الأعراق والجنسيات، فسيبقى دائما الفن هو اللغة الموحدة لجميع شعوب العالم. ولعل القارة الإفريقية زاخرة بالفن الأصيل والعريق والذي يجسد تاريخها وحاضرها ويساعد على رسم وصياغة مستقبلها. والآن مع الغناء والموسيقى والفن، الآن مع فابريكا.
To reunite, for all to meet again, with love and peace again. We gather heart to heart in brotherhood of men. It's time to celebrate, rejoice and become one in Africa. Now the time has come for us to reunite, for all to meet again, with love and peace again. We gather heart to heart in brotherhood of men. It's time to celebrate, rejoice and become one in Africa.
d'espace, sans barrière de temps, ensemble revenus. L'amour est notre lien, la paix est notre foi. En joie nous célébrons la splendeur de nos voeux pour l'Africa.
Nous voilà enfin, sans barrière d'espace, sans barrière de temps, ensemble revenus. L'amour est notre lien, la paix est notre foi. En joie nous célébrons la splendeur de nos voeux pour l'Africa.
السادة الحضور، بعد هذا العرض الفني رجاء البقاء في مقاعدكم حتى تبدأ الجلسات النقاشية. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated because we're going to start the talking sessions. Thank you.
مصر الليلة دي مجمعة كل الشعوب